All right, and we are live. Finding Bigfoot just went off the air, and they went back to Ohio this week for the second time. And it was a showcase for Matt Moneymaker. We'll just put it that way. Very much so, a
Oh yeah,
showcase for
very
Moneymaker.
much so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they
uh,
went back to the Buckeye State, which is where Moneymaker originally started his research. And where something interesting happened to him that really changed the course of his life. And we'll get into that when we get into the review. But first, I would like to send a shout out to the proprietors of Sasquatch Coffee. You guys make a great product, Gunnar Monson and Company. They they run out of Garibaldi, Oregon. And the product is tremendous. It's great, and I highly recommend it. You can go to squatchcoffee.com. I got my free sample of the tree knot flavor earlier this week. I ran out of it yesterday, but there is more. I ordered the 1 pound bag of the coffee, so that it's the Littlefoot gift basket. You get the 1 pound of coffee plus a T-shirt and a mug with the Sasquatch Coffee logo. So again,
wow.
that's
Yeah.
squatchcoffee.com.
Okay.
All right, first news item tonight, and by the way, all the links are going to be below in the description box for everybody who wants to check it out. Who wants to check these links out? Our first link for tonight, a young man named River Gibbs out of Kentucky has been putting out some interesting videos. He wrote a very good, what you might call a field manual last year called Path to Protocol. And I picked up a copy of it at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference last year. And I tell you, River is doing tremendous things. He's only 16 years old.
Wow.
And he is a very conscientious young man. He's doing great things. His latest video is about audio equipment. For those of you who get out in the field and you like to use recording equipment to try and record some kind of sounds or audio or whatever, he recommends a few things. He recommends, interestingly enough, if you're recording field notes and you don't like to write everything down, he says if you don't want to cramp your hands up trying to write things down, or if you don't have time to write things down out in the field, if you've got one, use your smartphone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Use your smartphone. Dictate into your smartphone. Later on, you can download it to your computer. You can listen to it, and you can write it down. He also recommends, and I'm going to show y'all. He recommends this type of audio recorder. It's an RCA digital audio recorder. He showed this on his video, and he says this is an older model. This is from like 2010, but it picks up some pretty good sound. And also, he says one thing you can invest in: 97-cent lapel microphone, which you can attach to your recorder, or you can the little headphone. It just goes like a headphone jack, and use these out in the field. You just leave this out in the field overnight or something like that, and in the morning you go and pick it up or whatever. And these will record. I think it's up to 70 hours. If you leave them out in the field, they'll record up to 70 hours. Although when I've put this out in the field, sometimes it'll cut off after a certain time. I always wonder now, what the heck's it doing cutting off? After I've left it out for, let's say you leave it out overnight, it might cut off after 2 hours. And I know it's not the batteries, because the batteries in this thing are brand new, and I change the batteries in this quite frequently, so I don't know. But yeah, he also talks about parabolic microphones, but you really don't need a parabolic microphone out in the field. If you want to listen, listen better for sounds or whatever, just do this. Cup your hands behind your ears, and you'll be able to hear better. That was something that River recommended. And River is, I mean, he's very conscientious, and he's the future of the research, of this research, no question about it. His website is rivergibbs.webs.com for those who are interested in seeing more from River Gibbs and seeing what kind of research he's done and research techniques. Our second news article tonight, our good friend to Squatch Unlimited, Shelley Covington, Montana, wrote a very interesting article for Cryptomundo, and the title of the article is 2015, the Year of Pro-Proof. Now, the one thing is about her video, or about what she has, what she's put together. She's put together a wildlife DNA kit. She does not call it a Bigfoot DNA kit. And it has several items. Now, she says, now I've heard her interviewed, she says that there are things you can put in your DNA kit. You don't necessarily have to have the things that she has in hers. Although she's got quite a few interesting items. She has paper envelopes, not plastic. No plastic bags. Use paper envelopes. They tend to, because they can breathe. Plastic does not breathe. Plastic bags don't breathe. So if you try and put, let's say, a hair or a tissue sample or a blood sample in something plastic, it's not going to breathe very well. And it may, and the oils in the plastic, there's something about the plastic that kind of deteriorates certain types of evidence. So it's always advisable to use paper envelopes. I mean, you can just get like a regular. You can go to any store, any stationery store, and get these envelopes. And that's what you put your. Of course, you always have to have rubber gloves, tweezers, all kinds of things to collect the samples to make sure everything is sterilized. Now, I know sometimes that's not possible out in the field, but try and get things as sterilized as humanly possible. Now, Shelley, as far as being pro-proof, well, that's exactly what she means. She doesn't really publicly share that very much. But when she says pro-proof, she means that, we need a body. That, you can collect DNA. DNA is interesting. All the evidence we have for Sasquatch so far is interesting. It's in the interesting pile, but it's not absolute proof. And I think Shelley, and I agree with Shelley's stance, by the way, that yes, a body will have to be taken. It's an unfortunate thing. I don't like the idea of it either, but it's something that's got to be done. It's as unpleasant as it is. And the thing is, Shelley is only presenting this. She's presenting this point of view, and she knows it's controversial, and she understands that. And one thing she says, one thing she says in the article is she says, referring to witnesses, she says, I presented to these people exactly what my views were and what I was all about. And to my surprise, they then in turn showed me what they were all about. This reaction revealed to me a lot more than I originally realized, which tended to be that those that had lots of questions seemed to be more fact-motivated than those that just said thanks and simply threw it in their bag, were usually the Bigfoot is everywhere type. And we do seem to run across that quite a bit in the Bigfoot field with people, the more woo as we call them, the woo um, factions, as it were, the ones who say that that Bigfoot is telepathic and that they can teleport in and out of dimensions, things like that, or they can mind speak with you. I mean,
Or they're cloaked.
yes, or if they're cloaked, exactly, exactly. um, but no, I mean, Shelley has taken some interesting positions, and she wants 2015 to be the year of pro proof, and I don't blame her. I want it to be the year of pro proof myself. I mean, Jennifer, you and I both had sightings, and we can
Right.
talk all day long about our sightings,
Right.
but it's not going to prove it to anybody.
No.
We can't prove what we saw.
No.
We
Yeah.
can't. We cannot tell somebody what we saw and have them believe it. We can't
Right.
present.
Yeah.
It's just what we have is just a story. That's all it is.
Right.
It's an
And you
account.
can get proof, proof, like a footprint. Okay, that's good. But or hair samples. But that still, you can get the hair samples tested. You can look at this footprint and say, wow, it's a really big foot. But the hair can be tested. Well, it always comes out inconclusive because
Exactly.
um, it just science cannot come to terms with this yet because we don't have the ultimate proof. So,
Hmm.
but I would guess the only thing that I question is, a body this year, when you can't even get a really good picture of it. So I don't know. Um, yeah, that would be great if we could have the proof, but I still am skeptical that it's going to happen this year.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, it is. It's going to take quite an effort. I think. Yeah, I think it is going to take quite an effort to get that proof. I mean, yes, we have evidence right now. We have all kinds of interesting evidence.
Right. We have lots and lots of evidence. That's not an issue. That's not a problem. But, we don't have the thing that so many people seem to want to have, which is a body. Why can't we find
Hmm.
that? And
Right.
why couldn't we find one just sitting out in, the woods? Well, it just doesn't end up happening that way.
Right. Yeah.
And it's been demonstrated why that can't happen. But, yeah, it would be great.
It would. It really would. Um. All right. Now we're going to get into this tonight's episode of Finding Bigfoot, which to me was a little bit better than last week's, to be quite honest. As
A
I
little bit,
recall,
yeah, a little bit.
I,
There
I
was
I
more evidence.
recall. I'm sorry, Jennifer. Go ahead.
Oh, there was just more. It seemed to be more evidence of something out there. Yes, yes.
Indeed, yes, there did seem to be more evidence of something going on. They did get some interesting, what you might call wood knocks.
Wood knocks, yeah. That was
They
the
did
bulk of
record
it. Yeah.
some wood knocks, and they're getting better about enhancing the sounds.
Hey, how about that? What
Yes,
a
they actually
concept.
enhance the sounds. And let's see, I'm trying to think. Who was it that was always lobbying on this very program for them to enhance the sounds and cut out the musical stings?
I
I
think that was you, Henry, wasn't it?
I believe that was Shane and myself and some others. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So, no, not to quote Arn Anderson, I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot toot.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, they went back to the Buckeye State of
Yes,
Ohio,
it was
where
great.
Matt Moneymaker had his first face-to-face encounter with a Sasquatch.
Right.
Um, I believe it was Holmes County, Ohio, which is
Is that
kind of
okay?
it's kind of I think north of it's north of Coshocton, north of Guernsey County. No, Coshocton and Guernsey counties are kind of known as hot spots.
Hmm.
Guernsey County is where Salt Fork State Park is.
Right,
Coshocton has the Woodbury Wildlife Area.
right. Yeah.
Um, but they went to Holmes County where Moneymaker had his own personal encounter where he actually saw one.
Now, do you feel that his description of his encounter, did you feel that Matt Moneymaker embellished that ever so slightly, or did you feel it was all truthful?
Well, it's possible he could have embellished a little bit over the years, and a lot of us do that. A lot of us have a tendency to embellish and things like that. It's possible he could have embellished it a little, but that's But that's Matt Moneymaker. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
and plus, this is for television.
Yeah,
This is for TV.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I liked the pictures that they showed of him about the time that he had the sighting,
mhm.
without his, long hair.
That
And
mullet.
I'm sorry, but that was a whole lot better looking than how he looks today. He was slimmer too. Gee, But
uh,
yeah, the encounter was pretty amazing. Uh,
it really was, and
to hear
that's
that.
not. And then, folks, we're not saying that he didn't have an encounter. We're not saying that he didn't have the sighting.
No,
We're
no, no.
just,
I think he did have one. I think
yeah,
it,
I think
he
so.
definitely did. He was still quite animated about it. Um, so
Indeed,
yeah,
he was.
yeah,
And they decided they would hold their first night investigation in that particular area.
right,
And interestingly enough, something threw a rock behind Renee.
right. Yeah,
And Matt and Cliff caught something on the thermal and
right.
said that it stood up and then crouched back down.
Yeah,
So Cliff actually walked towards it.
right.
And now, of course, it turned out to be when Cliff's video was reviewed because
Right,
he was therming it as well.
right.
When Cliff's thermal was, interestingly enough, it actually after this whatever it was, and we'll find out what it was in a second. After this thing had left, it left a heat signature. There was still heat from where it had been standing. When
Yeah,
Matt and
that
Cliff
was
got up to that
amazing.
area, they reviewed Matt's footage and then they reviewed Cliff's footage. It turned out to be a deer. They never get that lucky, it seems like. Yeah.
No, no, no.
But anyway, well, they decided to go on ahead and hold the town hall meeting.
Their
So they
town
held
hall,
a town
yeah.
hall meeting. They had several interesting witnesses. They had one individual named Jim, who Bobo described as his future self. The guy, he
Oh
has
my gosh.
silver hair, he has the long hair, he has a
Yeah,
castle he
yeah,
lives in,
yeah,
he
yeah.
has a Corvette,
Yellow Corvette.
a yellow Corvette, yeah. And while he was out in his Corvette is where he said that he's had the sighting. And this was in Mohican State Park.
Yeah, because it lives in a castle next to Mohican State Park.
Hmm. Yes. And he described his sighting, and of course Renee had to throw cold water on it and say it was a guy in a ghillie suit.
Right, right.
But Bobo did a recreation, and I think it's entirely possible old Jim did have a sighting.
Yeah, it's possible. Definitely.
Mohegan State Park is known for reports. There have
Right,
been reports there,
right.
so I
Yeah.
think Jim saw one.
Yeah.
And then they talked to a lady named Suzanne who said that she saw something jump across the road.
Yeah. Now, she talked about it as if it flew across the road,
Yes.
meaning that it was airborne. Um, I was less sure about that particular case. Not sure why. I'm not sure why they went after. They filmed that one, and then the other lady, the first lady, who she didn't get any. At least, I mean, they didn't show it that she had gotten anything, but hers sounded a little more, um, to me, a little more reliable than this woman who talked about
Hmm.
the Bigfoot, kind of flying like Superman across the road. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, I think I'm not sure what time of the year this lady had this sighting. She said it was around 8 o'clock
Eight
Eastern
o'clock in the
time.
evening, and I guess it was still pretty light, so it must have been either spring or
Well, in
summer.
the spring or summer, usually at 8 o'clock Eastern in the east, it's usually pretty light.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, she maybe have been able to see something, but it might not have been Squatch.
I mean, could it have possibly been a deer
Correct.
leaping across the road, and she panicked and thought, what the heck is that, and
Now, there was also something that wasn't emphasized, and it was that she kind of caught it. She was taking pictures of some
yes,
horses, and she kind of caught it out of the
hmm
corner of her eye, which can play tricks on you.
right, exactly.
So that one, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm a little iffy on that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so. Now one person that did stand up and tell his brief story. I wish they'd been able to talk to him a little bit longer. I wish they perhaps investigated his report, and that was Walter Tippy.
Mm-hmm.
And my light bulb, my lamp just went out.
Oh, gee. I was
So I'm
wondering
sitting here in the dark. Yeah, how lovely. Oh well.
You look better in the dark.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm a disembodied head.
Exactly. Okay, so yeah, Walter Tippy, you say he makes the
Yes.
Bigfoot necklaces?
Yeah. He. Let's see. I don't know if y'all can see it in the dark, but I have the. Well, now wait a minute. You know what? I've got a little headlamp right here. I can just show it.
There we go.
This
There.
little.
Yeah.
See this?
Yep.
That is made by Walter Tippy,
Okay.
and his company is called Tip Top Leather Goods.
Ah.
And he has a I think his website is called tiptopleathergoods.com,
Mm-hmm.
and he makes wallets, he makes knife sheaths, he makes flask covers, he makes there's something else he makes out of leather. There's all kinds of stuff he makes out of leather,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really high quality material. It's really really great what he does with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Squatch itself is made out of leather, or just the
Yes, yeah, the
Oh,
necklace and the actual pendant
oh, okay.
itself is,
Okay.
yes, made out of leather.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And then let's see, there was, I guess those were the only two witnesses they talked to.
There was, well, they had a couple of other people, but they didn't go talk to them directly, right?
Right, no. But while they were talking to Jim, Moneymaker was,
Oh, yeah, he was hiding up beside, way behind them, or up
yes,
on a
he
hill.
was he was
And
keeping an eye on them.
yeah, that was just so creepy. I mean, ugh.
But
Especially Moneymaker.
well, he was doing it. He was doing it as an experiment.
Right, and I understand why he did it. It just was, it came off as a bit creepy, you
Well,
know.
yeah, it did. It did. I agree with you on that.
I just, Moneymaker doing something like that, just, I don't know, I might have nightmares about that.
Um, but anyway, one thing they did was Moneymaker actually went out by himself
Right.
into the Mohican State Forest and he heard a possible knock.
Hmm.
And he told the other three, he said, "Hey, this would be a good place to have our final night investigation."
Right. Right.
But they added to the night investigation, the final night investigation, they had a team of little leaguers come up
Little
and
leaguers who were called the Squatchers, right?
yes, the Squatchers, yes. The Squatches, actually, but they became
Squatches, yeah.
Squatchers.
They became Squatchers, yes, you're right.
Yes, and they had them. Let's see, Renee and Bobo had them with them on one side of the whatever, and then Moneymaker and Cliff were on the other side.
Right.
And
Yeah, they taught him a few things.
yes, they did, and they actually got 3 knocks.
Three knocks that night. Um, and again, they enhanced them so you could actually hear them
Indeed, they
later.
could.
And
Indeed,
yeah,
they
they
did.
were they were much. It was great to hear that because it did help you understand what they sound like, what they really sound like, what you know what preceded that, meaning the kids did the knocks, and then hearing those things was really being able to have it, the enhanced um, sound on that was just so good, so helpful.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
it just makes it a whole lot more real.
I mean, they may not have actually gotten anything on thermal, but those sounds were
Yeah.
very distinct,
Mhm.
and the fact that they got those knocks in response to things that they were doing,
Right. Yeah, that was just amazing.
it really was. And I mean, I think it was a good way for them to cap off their investigation in Ohio,
Right. Yeah.
and because of that, I'm going to give this week's episode a 7.5 out of 10.
Um. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 7.5. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was definitely better than last week.
yes, very much so.
And I don't know. Last week's I thought really fell pretty flat, but this one
Yeah, it did. It
was
did.
a lot more exciting and interesting.
Yeah. Now, next week, now I've already seen this episode, but I know there are those who have not seen it yet.
I have not seen it.
I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed it. I've already seen it because it was one of the online episodes.
Hmm.
But I'm not gonna. But no spoilers here. You just have to watch it for yourself. It was a
But
good one.
it's in my home state.
Yes, they were in Minnesota. That's right.
Hmm. They're going to be in Minnesota, so that's going to be very interesting because growing up, I never. I mean, I can't remember anything, and I lived out in the woods, Henry. I was out in the woods. There
Hmm.
weren't a whole lot of people around at all. Now, there is now where I grew up, but there definitely wasn't then. And who knows? Maybe, I heard wolves, so why wouldn't I have heard a squatch? And of course, nobody would have known what it was. So
Hmm.
there though.
Exactly.
They're there in the North Woods.
Yes, they are. I think they are.
So,
Okay, now we have not one, not two, not even three, but four
yeah.
videos that we're going to examine this week for real or not real. So I'm going to do the screen share.
Okay.
All right. Now, there's an individual named Mark Anders who
Mm.
claims that he gets all this great footage from all over the United States, and he claims that it's real. Well, we're going to take a look. This is muted. There's really not much sound to it. I'm just going to play it muted and let everybody take a look at it. Now, that actually looks pretty good.
Well, let's see. The arms could be a little short.
Mm-hmm.
So
Let's.
the walk, well, it's so slow I can't quite tell, but the walk looks like it could be authentic.
I mean, it looks pretty good, but why are they showing it in slow motion?
And that's the only speed?
It looks that way. Yes, they're not
Okay.
showing it in real time.
Okay. Interesting. Very
Now they're
interesting.
looping it. Look at this. They're looping it.
Hmm. But look at the arms. Aren't they? I mean, compared to the rest of the body, the arms should be, they're like normal human length instead of being extra long.
Yes.
And I mean, it's so slow you can't quite tell what the gait looks like because they do have a very distinctive gait. That I did see with my sighting. The long arms and the gait that is, their knees are bent and it's very, look, it's not even very far apart. The feet are not very far apart.
No, they're not. I mean, that stride is very human-like.
Yeah, I'd say this is not real.
Yeah, that would be my consensus. I mean, they keep looping it. Number one, number two, uh, they show it in slow motion.
It's only in slow motion, so that's, a red flag there.
Exactly.
The gait doesn't look, the way, I mean, the feet are not very far apart.
Mm-mm.
The arms are not the extra long arms, and they don't swing, at least according to this, they don't swing like they do if you see a real one.
Mm-mm.
So I would say this is not real.
It's a really good suit. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that is a really good suit. I mean, it looks almost like Patty in reverse.
right. But look at the head too. It's not quite that pointy head. If it's that close, it seems like you would see. Well, I don't know. It maybe that's okay. I don't know. But the other things don't seem to add up.
Mm-hmm. Well, that one's finished because there's not much. There's not really not much more to that. I mean, like I say, it's looped. It's slowed down. It's
It
just
Yeah.
again, yeah, as you mentioned. I mean, that's most certainly that is red flags. Yes, no question about it. I mean, yeah, I don't put any reality to that one either.
Yeah. Next.
Exactly. Next. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna screen share this. Okay, this one, There was a photograph that came out years ago from this area called Moy Springs. And this
Oh, I
photograph is
think
in the snow.
I think I may have seen this a long time
Okay.
ago. FBI warning, lovely. Oh, crypto crew, okay.
Uh-huh. Okay, Bigfoot photo, Moy Springs photo.
And where is Moy Springs?
I think Colorado. I'm not sure.
Okay,
Now look
okay.
at this. Now that photo has been around for a long time. And look how
Yeah,
short the arms are.
yeah.
What are those supposed to be the fingers at the end there? What is that? Is that supposed to be the fingers?
Oh, gee.
That's an awfully chunky looking squatch.
Yeah. Juvie. Possibly a juvie. I don't know, but those and the fingers don't have any hair in them. Is
No.
that what the way it looks to you?
Yeah, I mean, are those supposed to be the fingers? Because I mean, they look.
It looks like human fingers, and it looks like what? What is that arrow?
I don't know.
And really, what are we looking at here? What are we looking at? It doesn't look real to me. I'm having trouble seeing a whole lot. Yeah. Uh, no. That's oh my goodness. I don't know. What do you think?
Now look at this.
Hmm. What? That's a human right there.
Looking like
That.
off a Muppet. See, look how fat that. Look
No,
at the
they're never.
short arms.
No. Oh, that's what that is. Okay. Snow. Okay. No, those arms are too short. No, that's not real. It's like that one we looked at last week. You notice it's not looking, you can't see the whole thing
Nope.
because they can't do that.
It looks like a model to me.
Yeah, not real.
Okay, let's see. For these first two, not real.
Not
Thumbs
real.
down.
Next. We're
Yep.
going to go through this real quickly.
Yep. All right, here's one from Squatchable.com. That last one was from BigfootBlogger.com, by the way.
Okay.
This is Algonquin Park, Ontario.
Oh, okay.
So here's the video.
Okay, it's a video. 2010. Canoe trip. Okay. Color enhanced. Oh, this one. I know which one this is.
Original video is over an hour long.
Yeah, and it doesn't show much, but right there. Yeah. Yeah. You
Oh
missed it.
yeah, we've looked at this one before on here.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I didn't know if this was the same one or not.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I remember this one now. Oh, look at that. Now that's interesting.
It is.
I mean, could that possibly be?
I suppose. Well, then they don't allow you to see a whole lot of it.
Right.
There. Mm,
You can see the still photograph of it.
that,
That's interesting.
yeah.
But I'm going to have to go with inconclusive on this one.
Well, yeah, and the one thing again I would emphasize is it doesn't look as if the arms are long enough. Now, it may be the angle that we're looking at this particular picture
It
from
could
the,
possibly be the angle. I mean,
yeah. Um, it does have, well, the head is small compared to the rest of the body, and that's a little odd too.
hmm
I don't know.
I'm going to go with undecided on this one.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it really is. I'm not, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to say undecided.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the first two definitely not real.
no. Third one, possibly, maybe.
Yeah. Now this is the final one for tonight. This is says quadcopter catches Bigfoot sighting Northern California. Send in breakdown. This is by Phil Poling.
Okay.
I don't always agree with Poling's
Yeah.
uh, what do you call it?
Conclusions.
Conclusions. Thank you. Let's see now. Okay, I'm not sure what this is.
His backyard.
Somebody's.
Says click to see original footage right there.
Let me try that. Here it is. Excellent.
Oh, that's the like it's like a drone.
Yeah, yeah, it's what it is. Drone.
And you can get a tarot reading for free. So
We'll get that off there.
this is right behind the house, a house, his house.
Looks that way.
Um, what are we looking? Where are we supposed to look?
Good question.
Lots and lots of trees.
Okay, there's no. That didn't tell us anything. That just did not tell us that. Let's see. Let's go back to the original.
What were we supposed to look at? Look for?
I think this breakdown is going to tell us. Okay, all it's doing is telling about what supposedly. Wait a second. Oh, there it is.
Okay, the very
There,
dark.
right there is the figure.
Oh, oh, okay. Very dark something, perhaps walking
Hmm.
upright. Is that right? Would you say that's upright?
I think so.
Okay. Now, how big are those trees around it? Um, scale.
Let's see. Let's see if it goes any further.
So that's the only thing.
Looks that way.
Hmm.
It's stopped right now. Let's see if.
Does it have any further to go? It would.
Well, let's see.
Does it walk? Can we see it walking?
Okay, I think. All right. Okay, let's. All right.
Oh, there
Here
it
it
is.
is.
Okay. Um, we saw it walking a little. I would say it.
All right. Here's zoomed in. Look at this.
Well,
Hmm.
yeah. Oh, look at that step. It looked like a really big step, like non-human size.
Hmm.
Just,
Now the narrator is saying that it looks up and then continues walking.
but it's not taking those big steps like. And the fact that there's a drone and oh, gee, look. I don't know. I'm a little skeptical.
Yeah, I have to say.
I mean, it could be because the uh,
Now, and that one bit looks like it's kind of rocking from side to side.
yeah,
Right there, right in there.
right, yep, yep. And then there's a big step after that.
Hmm.
I think it's after that. Yeah,
If
and it,
that's real, if that's an actual Sasquatch, then it's
what
walking
do you
very
think?
unusually.
Or it's drunk.
What?
It's drunk.
Drunk? It's drunk.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a little punchy. Can I see
Uh,
it one more time? It just it does look like it's staggering a bit. Maybe that's just my imagination.
I think now the guy apparently he wasn't out to film a Bigfoot. He was just, I guess, testing his drone.
I understand.
He must have bought a new. He probably bought himself one of those drones. He was
Yeah,
probably testing it by flying it over his house.
right, and into the woods behind. And
Hmm.
oh, gee, look. Uh, yeah, there it is. It just doesn't seem to walk right. I mean, they
No.
do. No, it's not walking. No, the steps aren't real big. I think that's. I don't know. I'm real skeptical. I would say that I would lean towards that's a hoax, but maybe you might be a little more generous.
It's either a hoax or misidentification.
Right. But it doesn't
Um,
walk right.
yeah. I until we have more information on this one,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say undecided, but leaning towards possible person.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say undecided, but leaning towards a possible person. See, I know CliffBerkman.com,
Yeah. Does
but
he have any
that's not
on there?
that's not where I got that last thing from. But I
No. Does he have anything new on his website yet?
not really. No, he
Oh,
just
okay.
has.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because his website tends to be pretty good. I mean, I think from what I've seen. Um,
yeah.
and he does sometimes address other than stuff going on big, finding Bigfoot. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
but yeah, that last one,
Yeah, that last one, I have to admit, that last video was a little questionable.
yeah,
Um,
I would say very questionable. I,
yeah, yeah,
I would say I'm very skeptical too.
I have to agree with you on that. But hey, that's why I put the links down the bottom under the description, so y'all can check it out for yourselves, and you can
Correct.
decide.
Mhm. 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 Yeah, I mean the two things you always have to look for if you can see them are the arms. How long are those arms? And if this creature is walking, are they swinging? Because they tend to do that when they walk. And the legs, what do the legs look like? Are they taking little teeny steps for a Bigfoot? Or are they, which would be like normal human steps? Or are they taking really big steps and, the bent leg and stuff like that? And
Now,
the head.
the arms, to me, in that footage, the arms appear to be short. But
Mm.
could that have been because of the fact that it was being filmed from above?
From above, you're correct. I don't know. You couldn't really tell.
Right. You really couldn't. Yeah, you really couldn't make a determination because it was being filmed from above by
Mhm.
a drone. So,
Right. And you don't know how big those trees are
right.
around it. So you can't tell what the size is of the creature. The arms did look a little short. The like I said, this being looked as if it was staggering, not walking. And it's supposed to be smooth walking. What I saw was someone who walked very smoothly. It was very, a very integrated with their entire body,
Mhm.
not just kind of staggering around sort of thing. I mean, from what we could see, obviously we couldn't see that much.
Right. Yeah. The thing is, they really need to do a follow up
Correct.
on that particular piece of footage. They really do. They need to do a follow up on that. They
Hmm.
need to try and get accurate measurements of the trees, have someone walk in that area, the same area, if they can find it.
Hmm. Well, and it was an open area, so that again is just slightly questionable.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is very questionable. It's an interesting piece of footage, but I don't think we're going to get too much.
Well,
Hopefully, they'll do a follow up. That's
well,
all I
maybe.
can say.
Yeah, yeah. If they know what they're doing, if they're not hoaxing people, they should have a follow-up, yes. And,
Yeah.
get a close-up of that area. How big are those trees?
Mhm.
Um, what area was this creature traversing? Are there, is it flat? Are there little, rises and bumps and stuff in it? I mean, those kinds of things make a difference as to how that creature walks. So, if it's kind of rugged, they might not walk very smoothly. But usually that's a characteristic also of their walking. It's very smooth.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the walk really threw me too. About that was one thing that threw me about this footage
Hmm.
was the fact that it appeared to be perhaps staggering a little bit.
Yeah.
It did appear to be staggering. I mean, was it drunk? What was wrong with it?
Did they put a little hooch out in the backyard? Sorry.
So let's see. So for not real, I mean for real or not real this week, we have two that we unequivocally said were not real,
Yeah.
and we have two that to me are undecided. I mean, I can't speak for you, but to me, until we get more information on this particular one,
Yeah, the fourth one. That
yes.
one to me is less uh that one is more questionable than the third one. The third one to me could have been plausible. I don't know.
Hmm.
But this one definitely to me is quite questionable.
I have to agree with that. Yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Shane is going to be taking over the hosting duties again next week.
Next week, yep.
So this is my final night to host the after show, but I've had fun doing it, and
Yes.
had Nikki with us last week. Unfortunately, she didn't make it this week.
No.
But it was Jennifer and Nikki and myself last
Yep.
week. 2 weeks ago, it was Jennifer and Freddie and myself.
And that
Where's
was great.
Freddie? You're missing in action, Freddie. But yeah, I want to thank you, Jennifer, for being with
You're
us
welcome.
these last few weeks. Really enjoyed it. Love your input. And we want to encourage you. We'll be back next Sunday, 11 Eastern, 10 Central.
Okay.
Is going to be the time. SquatchUnlimited.org. We're going to start the chat during Finding Bigfoot at 10 Eastern, 9 Central. And they're going to be back in Minnesota for the episode is called Bigfoot Base Camp. So that's right. They're going to be in Jennifer's home state. So
Yeah.
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 So y'all have a safe week and stay warm and stay dry
Yes.
and
Yeah.
keep your
Yes.
powder dry. And we'll see y'all next week.
All right.